that's paramount.
This is fantastic. You know what? Because this is the first time I'm hearing about transformations happening from the bottom up. You kind of winning hearts and minds of those who will benefit first, right? And this is the most crucial in any field. So this is fantastic that you have these demonstrable benefits so that workers can push up on management, right? On deployment more, not less.
Right. The thing is, with the human digital twin technology and the technology I was describing, we've seen, tremendous efficiency gains all across organizations. If we go back to that automotive example that I was referring earlier, now typically the time you save with a wearable barcode scanner like ours is, 3-4 seconds. Now, 4 seconds per scan means that you would save 4 million seconds per day, right? And then if you count, if you take a look at the automotive industry, the fact of the matter is that a second in the automotive industry is roughly €1 or $1. So that means per plant in one day, you can save up to $4 million, right? And that's just huge. And then with human digital twin, we've seen efficiency increases in the double-digit area. Obviously, because you can redesign your processes, you get to identify blockers, you get to understand what's happening on the shop floor, identify best practices. By the way, I mean, this is another key concern that that this kind of technology can address. Typically, if you look at organizations, you find that workers are working in silos, right? That's why everybody that is doing consulting advises management, hey, you need to support initiatives, you need to provide guidance, right? The truth of the matter is, or the question is, how do you break up these silos and be able to transfer best practices from one station to another? Because this is rarely happening. It's a key obstacle. With the human digital twin technology, you can actually transfer it easily because it's you have the visibility, you get to understand it, and you can transfer it easily because you can you can design one workstation after the other.
Amazing. This is fantastic story because first of all, when you're dealing with cool technology, right, it almost sells itself because yes, benefits are immediately demonstrable, right, and the business benefits and outcomes really, right, fantastic for the management and fabulous for the ground workers. So that. Congratulations on the successes there, because absolutely this is a fantastic example of automation which is easy understandable and easy translatable from business side and human side. This is great. So I want to talk about other industries. You mentioned manufacturing. Clearly, right? We talked about logistics, supply chains. Even I understand the importance, right, of technology there. But when we go into retail or even beyond that, so where do you see this, like the biggest acceleration and the biggest growth will be?
Right. So if you look at retail, then again, you end up at e-commerce kind of fast because many of the retailers that are currently out there, need to step up their e-commerce game, and this was a development that we've seen even way before the pandemic struck, right? But what's that mean? It means you have to redesign your fulfillment centers. You have to move them closer to your customers. You have to think about concepts like click and collect, right? These kind of things, and that changes many of the processes in the fulfillment centers, because obviously, if you say, for instance, if you're a food company, a grocery company, and you allow for click and collect schemes, then obviously you need to move the orders through your store to the customers so they can pick them up, right? And this requires a whole lot of change, and this means you have to have additional flexibility. You have to find ways how to not interfere with your other processes that are going on while run your operations, right? And this is another key concern here. Retail, so retail obviously is another very interesting market in that aspect because you have that rise in e-commerce, and that makes makes it an interesting playground, and makes these organizations probably want to consider the human digital twin as a means to address the challenges they are faced with.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much. I got excited, listening to you because again, with all the content we receive, it doesn't necessarily resonate until you see the practical examples of
Right,
people being happy with handling new technology, with being
right.
with deploying new technology and seeing the benefits. So in closing, Axel, in closing, couple of takeaways, please. About what's next for human digital twins and for the organizations who are looking to deploy.
Right. So, I mean, when it comes to the human digital twin, obviously, one thing we're looking into is, visualizing routes, how items travel along the supply chain, how they travel along your warehouses, these kind of things. Um, we're looking at enhancing the process analytics capabilities even further. And then there's probably, a couple of other things that you might want to look into. Obviously, carrying all sorts of sensors allows you to collect all sorts of data. But speaking of data, it's very important to democratize the entire process to provide flexibility. You don't want surveillance, so you want to use anonymized data, right? And you want to give workers a chance to understand what kind of data is being transmitted. So this is something that you need to look into, and that is certainly a key concern, especially for us being a European headquartered company.